So you did the walkthrough, you signed the contract, you built a beautiful kitchen for 6 weeks straight, and now the client is standing right in front of you refusing to pay the final invoice. She says the tile backsplash was supposed to be included. It wasn't, and you know it wasn't, but you're standing there with no written record of that conversation. And she's got a screenshot of a text that says, quote, "We'll figure out the backsplash during demo." And that's all it takes, one vague conversation, and you're eating $4,200 worth of labor and materials just to make it all go away. Today, we're going to make sure that that never happens to you again. I'm going to give you 3 word-for-word scripts that you can use starting today. How to say no to free work, how to deliver bad news about a delay without killing the relationship, and how to fire a bad client before the project even starts. But first, I want to talk about why clients get difficult in the first place, because it's almost never about the tile. Now, most client conflicts don't start on the final invoice. They start literally on day one when something that should have been written down wasn't. Here's the psychology. Homeowners are spending the biggest check of their lives on a process that they don't fully understand. They can't see behind the walls. They don't know what rough-in means. And they're trusting literally a stranger to do it how they want. Now, when something surprises them, like a delay, a cost, a detail that they thought was included, a hidden thing behind those walls, they don't experience it as a scope change. They experience it as kind of a betrayal. And that's not an insult to us contractors. It's just how the human brain works. When people feel uncertain and kind of out of control, they look for somebody to blame. It's human nature. And if you haven't given them documentation that proves the scope, you become the easy first target. The fix isn't being a tougher negotiator or salesman. The fix is removing the ambiguity before it becomes a dispute. There's a phrase that should be literally hanging in your truck. The faintest ink is better than the best memory. Write it down every time, every conversation, and every change, because the moment something goes sideways, and we know it always does, your memory is worth nothing if your client's memory disagrees with it. All right, let's get into the meat of this video. While you're here, let's get into the scripts. So the first one is saying no to free work. This happens all the time, right? So here's the scenario. You've just finished the master bath. The client's doing their walkthrough and says, "Oh, you know what? Can you just swap out this light fixture while you're here?" It only takes a second. Most contractors, they freeze. Of course, you don't want to seem difficult. So what do? You swap out the fixture. You lose 45 minutes or an hour or more, and then $60 or so in parts. And then the other thing, the worst thing, you've just trained the client to keep asking. So here's what you need to say instead. "Sure, John, I'd be happy to take care of that," or "Mary, I'd be happy to take care of that. I'll write up a quick change order so that we have it documented. And you know what? We might be able to get that done today, but for sure we'll get it scheduled in the next day or two." That's it. You didn't say no, you said yes with a small process attached. And that change order does a couple things. It prices the work, so you get paid, you don't eat into your margins. And it signals to the client that your time has value without making them feel punished for asking. And sometimes you're going to get some pushback. So if they push back and say, "It's just one fixture, like, do we really need a change order?" Here's your follow-up. "You know what? Yeah, I get it. Totally understand. It seems small, but I've learned that keeping a clean paper trail protects both of us. Last thing either of us wants is confusion about what was in the original scope." That's it. So simple. You're not the bad guy. You're the professional. That's the big difference. And your clients should be used to this type of having a simple process when they're doing other things in their daily life, like going to the doctor, going to any type of other service, the mechanic. They don't do anything for free. They, mark it up as a change order. It's just different wording, but your clients should be used to this, and it's your job to train them to, you're kind of normalizing this for the current project and then any future projects. All right, so script number 2, delivering bad news about a timeline delay, for example. So the worst thing you can do is wait. The longer you sit on bad news, the worse it gets, both the problem and the client's reaction to it. Here's a scenario. The tile supplier just told you the floor tile is back ordered 3 weeks. The client was expecting you to start installation Monday. It's Thursday. So you called him now, not Monday. Now, "Hey, I wanted to get ahead of something before it catches us off guard. I just heard from my supplier and the floor tile is backed up by about 3 weeks. I've already reached out to 2 alternatives to see if we can source something comparable faster. I'll have options for you by tomorrow morning. So do you want to wait for the original tile, or would you rather look at what else is available? So boom, 3 things happening right there in that script. Number one, you're being transparent immediately. They respect that. You're showing them that you're already working on solving that problem, and you're giving them a decision which puts them in control of the outcome, right? So clients don't hate delays. That, delays happen in their life, but they hate surprises. There's a big difference. If you tell them Monday morning when work was supposed to start, you've wasted their weekend plans and then blindsided them. If you call Thursday, you're a professional who communicates proactively. Same delay, completely different response. This one might get a few comments. So third script, firing a client before the project starts. This one sounds a little bit dramatic, but it's really not. Some people are just not the right fit for you and your business. You learn to spot those red flags. They've already had 3 contractors who didn't work out. They argue about every line item on the estimate. They want the deposit waived, or they call you at 9 p.m. to ask questions. Those clients will cost you money and drain your energy, not because of the work, because of the time, stress, and headspace that they consume. Here's how you exit gracefully before you lock yourself in. After thinking through the project, I don't think that we're the right fit for what you're looking for. My schedule and the scope you need don't line up with the way that I'd want them to or usually do things. And I'd rather be honest now than have you disappointed later. And I'm happy to recommend a couple other contractors in the area that would be perfect fit for you. So right there, you're not burning a bridge. You're not making accusations. You're just declining professionally and offering to help them move on. Most contractors never do this. They just take the job hoping it'll be fine, and it's rarely fine, right? Guys, your time is worth protecting, and so is your mental health. All right, so you've got those 3 simple scripts that are gonna be game changers for your conversations. But scripts only work when they're backed up by proper documentation, because the moment a client says, that's not what we agreed to, you need to be able to show them exactly what you agreed to. And that's where I want to show you something really cool. This is Handoff AI. It's built specifically for residential general contractors and remodelers. And I want to show you 2 specific features that basically eliminate the whole he said, she said argument. The first is the AI site walkthrough. When you do your initial client walkthrough, instead of taking notes in a legal pad that no one can read later, you just open Handoff on your phone and record voice notes as you walk the job. You're narrating what you're seeing, what the client is saying, what the scope includes, taking pictures, and then Handoff transcribes it, organizes it, and timestamps it. The moment you walk out that front door, you have a documented record of everything that was said during that visit. That backsplash conversation I mentioned at the top of this video, you've done that walkthrough in Handoff. You would have it timestamp recorded of the client saying or not saying that the backsplash was included. No more guessing, no more I thought you said, just a record of everything documented right there in your phone. No having to search through your legal pad, emails, text threads, phone, all that stuff. It's right there, organized for that project. The second feature, and this one is perfect alignment with what we've been talking about in this video, the formal change order process. When a client asks for anything outside the original scope, that light fixture, different tile, an extra day of demo, you open Handoff, build the change order, and it prices it out automatically. This takes about a couple minutes. Then you send it, the client gets it on their phone, they review it, and boom, sign it digitally. And the signed record lives right there in that project file, along with all the other documentation that we've talked about. Before a single minute of extra work begins, you have a signed document with the scope, the price, and the date. That's not bureaucracy, that's protection, and it's professionalism. Think about that last time a client disputed something. What would it have meant to have a timestamp voice note from the site walk and a signed digital change order? The conversation would have been over in 30 seconds. Handoff doesn't make you more formal, it makes you more professional. And professional contractors don't eat costs that they shouldn't be paying. You know, in construction business, difficult clients, they're here to stay. They're not going anywhere, but difficult clients with no documentation to push back against you, that you can fix today. Use the scripts that we talked about, document every conversation, and get a change order signed before you lift a finger. And if you want to see how Handoff handles the documentation side of all this, the site walkthrough, the change orders, all of it end to end, through every project, go to handoff.ai and take a look. Link in the description too. It's built for contractors running teams who need to look buttoned up without adding 3 hours of admin to their week or day. Remember, link is in the description. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're posting multiple videos every single week on how to help you run, scale, get more and bigger projects. Thanks so much for watching our video. Subscribe again, and we'll see you for that next one. I used to get 15 plus client texts a day. What's the update? Did the material show up? When are you coming back? Now.